What's up guys, in this video I'm going to show you how I made this Cairo Keys opener for when he did his tour here in Australia. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys so that you can just apply it into your own workflow or help you grasp an understanding of AI and how you might be able to create your own workflows and potentially even use it in your own work. This project was super fun and I'm excited to break it all down for you, so let's jump straight into it. So before we get in depth into the tutorial, I wanted to break down this workflow right here. So this is the actual workflow that I used while creating it. If you want access to it, it's completely free down in the description. So if you're curious on what this program is, this is called Freepik. The reason why I love Freepik so much is because, as you can see, we can do this node-based system. We have full control over all the images that we want to generate and be very specific, and just helps generating AI more visually as a creative. So if you never used Freepik before, once you load into the spaces section and you create a new project, this is the first screen that you're going to see. What we want to do is you can start off with anything here. I always just click an image generator because that's usually where everything starts from. So Nano Banana Pro is always the go-to. And then I always do 2K textures because 4K actually cost. If you have a certain subscription with Freepik, you get unlimited 2K textures renders. But if you go above 4K, it starts to cost credits. So we're gonna now drag out a text node. I'm gonna open up our assistant. So now we've done that, let's connect them all. Because we have the names, we don't need to put them in any specific order. We can just plug them all in. And then now we'll go and grab our text and then we'll bring in an assistant. And I'm going to paste in exactly what we had in my previous one. And we're going to see if it gives me the same results. The crazy thing about AI is like it doesn't always give you the same results. Sometimes they might be better, sometimes they might be worse. And that's why it's worth actually regenerating the exact same prompt, like not changing anything, but just regenerating every time, because sometimes using a different seed actually works exactly how you might want. Now that's basically that. If we click run, it should now do its thing and generate us a really good prompt related to what we just described. So as we can see, this is all right. Not really what I was looking for. So potentially let's try regenerating it, see if it gives us anything different. And if that doesn't work, then what we can do is just use this here and put it into a text prompt and just run that straight through instead of putting it through the assistant. So this also didn't really turn out that good either. Let's now give it a go with our other prompt without the assistant. Let's see what this gives us. And there we go. We can see that just using my prompt at the end of the day worked out better than I expected. Of course, his shoes aren't perfect. We can just tell it specifically if we wanted to make adjustment there, generate another one and tell it to just change the shoes specifically. Now, I'm going to bring in this shot. So this is the shot that I found on Pinterest that I based the whole scene off of, right? I saw this and I didn't know how to quite explain it in high detail. Now, I put it through Gemini, but I actually haven't tried putting it through the assistant, okay? So what we can do for the assistant, right, the prompt assistant, is we can give it images and then we can tell it exactly what to give us. We could also give it, if we click on the settings, we can give it a system prompt. So the system prompt is basically just telling them exactly how to respond or how to act. So in more simpler terms, that's technically its job, right? This assistant, its job is to give us exactly what we just told it to do. So we told it to be a professional prompter that can extract results 100% of the time, examining, describing every single detail in perfect JSON code, generating hyper-realistic 8K generations. And now that we've given it our image here, it's like, okay, now we can be like, can you give me a detailed JSON prompt of this image? And then we click go. And now it's going to examine it and give us exactly what we're looking for, which is pretty freaking awesome. So that kind of saves us from going back and forth between Gemini or ChatGPT, because this already is using ChatGPT for these prompt assistants. As we can see, if I open up the preview, we can see what it's given us. Now it's given us a super detailed JSON prompt. And it's like detailed prompt here. Like now it should, if we were to just generate now, if we take this to Nano Banana, I want it in 16:9. 2K, and we'll press run. Now it should give us a really good generation of pretty much exactly what that image is. Now, why do we even want to do this? Technically, at the end of the day, we don't even need to do this. We could honestly just grab that as a reference, that image as a reference, plug it in Nano Banana and just tell it to put our character in the scene. But I've found that I have gotten some really good results because I don't want exactly that. I just want slightly different results so that I'm not just copying someone else's work exactly. So this is what it's given me. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but like I've mentioned multiple times, we can just continuously just keep tweaking it until we get it perfect. Now, I'm not going to keep going. I'm not going to go through and change all this, but what we could do for this is, we can see the background, so we could tell it to darken the background completely, or we could go into Photoshop and do it ourselves. And then we could also add in our character here. And because we now technically have our master frame, we can put our character in here, and then using the camera control, we can then control the angle of what we're trying to generate. So if I plug this into here, this is such an awesome feature too. We can see the little dial at the top, whatever angle we want. So we have a lot of control, and we can go from there and start building and creating, and then just chuck it into Kling or whatever might work. Sometimes Kling might work, sometimes other video models might work. So it's all about testing, trial and error. And then I took all that, I brought it into Premiere Pro, as we can see here, and I added sound design, and I think that's pretty much it. So if you want access to this entire workflow, like I mentioned before, it's down in the description. It's completely free. You don't need to sign up for anything. When you open it, you just make a copy, and then you can just take anything from here. You can use whatever you want and use all the prompts and kind of use the examples that I used and see the process of it all. That's pretty much it. I hope I didn't miss anything. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I answered all your questions. And of course, if you have any more, please ask in the comments below. But thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.